ladies, welcome to the show. You're listening to another edition of D2D, Doctor to Doctor in the chat room. I'm so glad to have you ladies today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We're here at Pyro's Pizza in the beautiful city of Memphis, Tennessee, on Ridgeway, and we thank them for carving out some time and space for us to gather today and have some girl talk. I'm excited about it. So what we're going to do, a little bit, just in a little bit, we're going to have some introductions. But before we do that, I just want to say happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you had a great time with family and friends, and that you ate real good and you enjoyed your holiday. And although I know we're going to have a lot of fun today, I still think that this is an important topic. We have young ladies that will be coming along after us, and we want them to be vigilant about how they approach this whole concept of relationships, and particularly because we are living in a time where the whole dynamic of relationships has changed. And I think, to have some discussions surrounding maybe our strategies and our techniques and our approach to it, maybe something that can be beneficial to somebody else and help them to understand like where they are in their relationships. So I think what we need to do first, I want the listeners to know who's at the table. So, you don't have to say a whole lot, but if you'll at least kind of tell me a little bit about who you are, maybe what you do and your status, because as we go through our topics and our discussion, people will understand your perspective, where you're coming from.
So I'm Rhonda Scott Howard. I'm married 23 years with 3 children. I'm an educator of 24 years.
Yay.
I'm Cheryl Tucker. I'm in operations, museum operations, and I am single.
Thank you.
Keep the Chambers, and I've been married for 16 years, and I work as a nurse, and I have 2 children, a dog, and a mom.
Valencia Johnson. I'm in the education field. I have 1 child, 1 grandchild, and I'm single.
Ladrian Boylan. I work for FHN Financial as a senior operations specialist. I am divorced a little over 2 years now. Have 1 daughter who attends college. She's 19 years old.
Okay. Well, again, welcome. So how about we just unpack all things relationship in 1 hour?
Okay.
So I think a good place to start is this whole thing about soulmates. Everybody says people that are single say that they are looking for their soulmates. People that have been married, happily married for a while, often say, I found my soulmate. How do you all view the whole idea of soulmate? Do you see that as something that's significant to relationships, and what is a soulmate to you?
Well, I guess I'll start. But I will say with my husband, I think when I initially met him, I wasn't looking for anyone or anything in particular. So I'm not really sure I know for a fact when I first met him, I would not have thought he would be my soulmate. Like, we met one of my nursing jobs, I met him, and I was not initially attracted to him. And I know a lot of people think that's how it starts. I like to have this initial attraction. I did not, and I let him know that from the beginning. I wasn't attracted to him, and he would take me out, and because he didn't like me, and I really didn't like him, and just be like, don't touch me, and he just kept coming around, and I would talk to girlfriends like, and I'll tell you, I was young then. He had been married and had kids, and that was kind of my thing. Like, I didn't want a man with children, even though I had a child. I was single. I just had this whole idea of what I thought my husband should look like or be like. Well, long story short, 16 years later, I can say that yes, he grew on me, and we have grown together. And he really showed me how a man is supposed to love a woman. And that, I mean, even taking in my child, being a single mom, loving my child, I think was really, really what stood out to me, because I did have a daughter going in. And I think the way that he embraced her really helped me to grow, to love him, I guess. And now over time, I can say, yes, he's my soulmate. Because to me, a soulmate, he's my lover, he's my best friend, he's my provider, he's my hubster, he is my everything. So I guess that's my soulmate.
So he completes you.
Yes.
Good.
Wow. I don't know that I've ever really embraced the idea of soulmate, but I've been married since I was 23, and I think at 23, what I thought about relationships then and what I wanted and who I wanted and all those grand ideas is very different from what I would define it today, what I would say I would expect. And like you, we've grown together through a whole lot of things, but today I think spiritually for me, soulmate is more like that man of purpose who was designed for me to complete me. And at 23, 19, 18, I don't think you know yourself well enough to know what completion looks like, and without that really close relationship with who God the Father made me, and not understanding that I couldn't pick the soulmate, so to speak. And so we've had to grow together in that in order to be that to one another. Not just him for me, but me for him. And I do think it eludes us a lot just because we don't know, depending on where you are, you don't always have a clear picture of who that is and what they need to bring. And because if you don't know who you are, you really can't
That's a good point.
find a mate.
Yeah. So I've been listening to Tori Roberts. He has a lot out there on relationships, and one piece that I've heard talk about these 5 keys to, or ingredients to finding your soulmate. And so I want to tell you what those 5 things are, and then I want us to kind of talk a little bit about those 5 characteristics. But before I do, one of the first things that he said when he started this piece was, he quoted Psalms 1 and 1. And I'm reading the NIV version of that. It says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers." He uses this verse as a leverage to saying how we align ourselves with others, how we are aligned with others makes a difference in, I would say, maybe the foundation of the relationship and what you have to build on. He says that these 5 things are chemistry, connection, and he was specific to say, don't confuse chemistry with connection, wholeness, divine confirmation, and then a sense of purpose. Randy, you talked about purpose a moment ago. So talk about how you've experienced any of these 5 things, because I heard Takitha say, it wasn't chemistry at first. So I can see where they don't necessarily have to go in a particular order, but I kind of feel like in what I've heard you guys say, they're all there when it is a completion.
I think I've experienced chemistry part, but that part didn't lead to the soulmate, the purpose, the wholeness, all of that. And I think that in terms of being single, you have the chemistry, and I think differently when I was younger than older, of course. And at first, the chemistry was enough and everything else all fall into place. And then when you get older, then you say, hey, okay, I have this chemistry, but what else does a person, bring to the table? But I think you say something about wholeness too. And I don't think that sometimes you get there until you're a little bit older.
That's a really good point. Like, not only do they not necessarily come in that order, but you could get one or two things and not all.
Right.
So that, because I think chemistry is probably a big thing. Being single, and speaking to other single women, I hear a lot. Like, we just had so much chemistry, but then you can't get it off the ground because that's kind of where it ends with the chemistry.
Yeah, for me, the connection and then the purpose piece is really stands out to me. Because without connection, you don't have a supporter. You don't have anybody who believes in you, what you want to accomplish, who you are, who they are, and how you come together to kind of be a couple. Like, we're supposed to be one once we get together, like in marriage. But beyond chemistry, what else connects you together? And if it's not hobbies, if it's not that he inspires you or I inspire him or what have you, how do you get to know whether that person is the one purposed for you or the one who could be designed for your life? I don't know that we always, I know I wasn't always looking for, the connection. Sometimes we got to the chemistry and that was enough for right now, And so that makes it fun. And then once you get past fun, what do you have?
Right.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that Roberts pointed out was, like, you can have a connection with somebody because of things that you have in common, like, we both love going to concerts. We both love, we connected because of what we had in common, but then there was no chemistry. So we're going to go to break in a moment, but before we do, let's just go ahead and get submission out of the way. Submission has always been such a bad word, right? So let's talk about submission and how you view it, because I know that how I saw submission 10 years ago, I see it totally different now. So let me hear how you ladies think about it.
I don't really see it as a very hard thing to do if I see that individual being led by God. I don't think I should be used as a mat, just because you are superior and I am the female. I have no problem with submitting as long as I know that you are submitting to the Father.
Submission sounds like honor, trust, and service to me, kind of rolled into one. So, I mean, you can honor, but you can serve, but you need to trust. And I think that based on what a man is biblically to bring, and I just can't have this conversation without that. So, like, I need for him to provide and security and all those things and be my friend and protect me, and that's what he's called to do. And so, trusting him comes from that place of feeling secure, that place of feeling provided for, that he vowed it for me.
So it makes it much easier for you to submit knowing that.
That's an excellent point, because where I am now is that I say, when God says submit, he wasn't talking about to a knucklehead.
Right.
That's not what he meant.
Exactly.
And so that trust thing that you pointed out, that's huge, because here's the thing about submitting you know, even when you don't necessarily agree or whatever, but it's like I'm trusting my mate that he is led by God, right?
Right.
And so that he has the best interest of our relationship, our family, whatever is involved, he has the best interest at heart. And whatever decisions he makes, they're based on that. And even if he fails in whatever the decision was, he had our best interest at heart when he made it. So I think it's like when you can trust that deep, you know, it's submission is easy.
And it's also knowing too that God is in control. So when it does go to the left or wrong, you made the decision together.
Right.
And if you were following his lead, then you just have to trust in God and you trust in him.
Yeah, and even from the perspective of us just being, you know, strong women, you know, women that can be independent, that really plays a role in how we view it. Because then you know, you don't want just somebody coming in telling you, it's maybe not so easy to trust that man that maybe depending on how you view him, if that makes any sense. Yeah, okay. So we're going to come back in a moment. We're going to talk about something else biblically based. We're going to talk about being equally yoked and how you guys view that. So we'll be back in a moment on 94.7 FM.